In a recent report, Judy Woodruff explored the history of violence in Northern Ireland as a warning to our own country about how quickly identity-based conflicts can spiral out of control. Tonight, she returns to Belfast with a look at efforts to bridge the deep divisions that remain there decades after that conflict officially ended. It's part of her ongoing series, America at a Crossroads.
Opening early each morning on Belfast Lanark Way, this Peace Gate, a symbol of ongoing separation between Catholic and Protestant neighborhoods, allowing easy passage between the Shankill Road, representing Protestant loyalty to Britain, and the Falls Road, representing Catholic Republicans and their long fight for independence. The summer months are cool but tense in Northern Ireland when Protestants march through Belfast on Saturdays. In mid-July, they light huge bonfires to mark long-ago British victories over the Irish, antagonizing their Catholic Republican neighbors. In August, Catholics take their turn, marking the Feast of the Assumption and the internment of prisoners without trial during the Troubles.
There was a two-day run-and gun battle with the Republicans.
Running gun battle.
In West Belfast and the British Army.
Right where we are.
Right where we are.
Okay. Alan Waite grew up during the Troubles in Highfield Estate, a working-class Protestant neighborhood in West Belfast.
We still live in a divided community, and we're still...
It's still as divided as it was?
It's just not as divided, but in terms of where we live and in terms of how we go to school and spend our time, it's still very much, you do your stuff on your side of the wall, and we'll do ours on the other side of the wall.
Pierce McConnell grew up on the other side of that wall.
So it defines a lot in terms of a young person's upbringing, their culture, what they believe in.
Born in 1997, a year before the Good Friday Agreement, he was raised in the Ardoyne, a mostly Catholic, working-class neighborhood less than 2 miles from Highfield.
You're constantly told, do not go there, do not engage with those people, do not do this. So then automatically you're curious, but you're also, there's a bit of a fear.
27 years after the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, the political accord that mainly ended the violence, many neighborhoods, communities, and the vast majority of schools here in Northern Ireland remain divided by identity. But a number of groups are working across that divide to try to maintain the peace and build a more integrated future. More than a decade ago, Alan Waite founded Our City to integrate young people from single identity neighborhoods like Highfield and Ardoyne. As early as age 12, they begin building friendships across the divide at its community center, traveling to the beach for summer camp.
We like to take the young people out of their community, out of their surrounding environment.
And even overseas, to places like South Africa, where they learn about conflicts beyond their own borders. Alan Waite says it's about trying to break the generational cycle here.
Unfortunately, when you're brought up in a community, you're brought up in a family who's maybe staunch and pass a lot of their values and a lot of their beliefs to the younger generation below them. And therefore, if you're only hearing the stories that's around you, then you're getting the same thoughts and feelings that those older generation had many years ago.
My granddad was really forceful on don't go into areas, they're bad people.
Padraig Green is 17 years old and grew up in the Ardoyne, the Catholic enclave. He joined Our City when he was 13 and says through friends he's learned about the Protestant traditions he once feared.
So I got to learn more about their culture, but also not only that, I also got to learn that they are actually just human. They're just like us. They live in more or less the same life, like same houses, same families, stuff like that there.
People my age care about Catholics and Protestants, but they weren't alive to witness what actually properly happened.
17-year-old Darcy Montgomery grew up in Highfield, the Protestant neighborhood. Through Our City, she's become friends with more Catholics, but she says change is slow here.
These peaceful, they shouldn't still be up. Why would they need to be up? But then if you try to take them down, to be fighting. So I don't, there needs to be a problem with the fighting going on and with the conflict between the two communities.
Pierce McConnell is now the program manager at Our City, but was also part of its inaugural class. He says they're trying to build the shared space that society still hasn't, where over many years young people can build relationships stronger than the divisions of the past.
If you look at every relationship and positive relationship you have in your life, it probably came through having something with longevity in it. So your friends come through your job that you've maybe been in a long time, your school that you went to, your university, a sport you played, a hobby you had. You need that time spent together. You need to build those relationships and build that understanding.
Most importantly, they're speaking to each other from other sides, where in my day I never had that opportunity.
Monica McWilliams was 14 when the Troubles in Northern Ireland broke out.
This is us, the first day of the peace talks.
She was 44 when she signed the Good Friday Agreement after co-founding the Northern Ireland Women's Coalition and being elected to the multi-party negotiations. A trailblazer for women's rights, she has since worked around the world on peace-building efforts and says grassroots efforts like Our City are a key feature.
Politicians think we were elected, so we're the only people who can speak as representatives. The people on the ground are participating every single day as much as you are in politics. It might be small p politics, but every single thing they're doing is political. And that's my message to those who are losing faith in other parts, particularly in the States. They say, what difference can we make? If you get together, if you're a collective, if you get organised, information, education, agitation, and it works. But do not disparage the politicians either, because you have to be in the system to change the system.
They've recognized that you can't ask people to compromise completely on who they are.
Former Democratic Congressman Joe Kennedy served as special envoy to Northern Ireland under the Biden administration, and he says there's another lesson for Americans about identity and politics.
A Protestant shouldn't tell a Catholic in Northern Ireland they can't be Catholic. A Catholic can't tell a Protestant you can't be Protestant. A nationalist can't tell a unionist not to stay true to their loyalties, and vice versa. Those are ingrained traits as to the identities of who those folks are. Yet, they have found a way to try to build a community on top of that, recognizing that an essential way for peaceful coexistence to make sure that my kid has a healthy and safe and vibrant future is to make sure that your child does as well.
The main thing for us is that we build a relationship so strong that when it comes to talking about hot topics, more importantly is our relationship rather than the topic, whether it be the colour of the flag on top of the City Hall or maybe an Irish, language speaking act. Look, we can have debates about that, but what's more important is what me and you have as friends.
Today, older generations marvel at how much progress society has made since the Troubles when they grew up. For young people like Padraig Green and Darcy Montgomery, there's so much more to be done. 20 years from now, what do you want Northern Ireland to be like? I would like there to be more mixed schools, so Protestant and Catholic schools learning the same thing.
I would love there to be no peace gates, no peace walls, just a completely integrated community, nationwide.
But back on Lanark Way, each evening the Peace Gate, painted to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, closes again until tomorrow. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Judy Woodruff in Belfast, Northern Ireland.